Hello, Mr. Jerry. Good day. Well, today on the CEO's Thursday, we're going to be discussing about a family trust. And I tell you, this is one thing that you don't want to miss, and you have to hear it all the way through. So, thank you very much for joining us on the CEO's Thursday. Mr. Jerry, so we've been hearing a lot of talk about a family trust. What really is a family trust?
Okay, thank you very much, Taku. Yes, a trust is very essential, especially for an entrepreneur or someone who actually owns property. I think it was actually established hundreds and hundreds years ago, but mainly it was being used by rich families. But even those who are in the middle class can also use them. But we are saying, what I've noticed is even those who might have even one house, they might need a trust because it's not very expensive. Yes, it's a very expensive to set up or to maintain, especially in the first world countries. But here in Africa and as M&J, we are willing to subsidize the cost of that trust in order for us to help our own, as our vision was always to help entrepreneurs. So coming back to your question, a trust is actually an arrangement which you make as a truster or the person or the grantor, the founder of the trust, who is now saying, I'm now putting these assets in the hands of the trustee, who is actually handling the property or the assets on behalf of the what? Of the beneficiary. So that's a trust. And these are the trusts are in different forms. Uh, they can be revocable, they can be irrevocable, but I don't want to go too much into that. They can be testamentary trusts, uh, but I don't want to go too much on those actually jargon. I want to simplify things and let us just say trust is something which are you as a founder, you are making an arrangement whereby you want to give your assets to the beneficiaries, then the trustees are supposed to safeguard that on behalf of the beneficiaries. Thank you.
Okay, so from everything that you've been saying, is there a difference between a family trust and a will?
Okay, the major difference, thank you for that question. The major difference, especially when it comes to a will. A will is something which you are writing, and this is only going to be used when you die. But we are saying a trust now is in several forms. Your trust you can be even used whilst you're still alive. It can protect you whilst you're still alive. It can only benefit maybe the beneficiaries when you passes on. These are the other trusts, or it can even benefit your beneficiaries whilst you're still. For example, if you're the founder or the grant or the trust, you are going to establish a trust. Let's say if you divorce. If you divorce as an individual, it means you are going to be sued even for all your properties. But if you're saying your properties are in a trust, and if you divorce, it's not the trust which is divorcing. Remember, a trust is a legal persona whereby we're saying it can be sued and also it can sue. So, unlike a will now, a will can be made public. Like if you've seen a lot of wills which are public. So I might say when I'm going to die, I don't want to my issues. I don't want them to be public. I want them to stay private. So if it means that if I die today, once I've set up all my trust already, and all my properties and my estate is actually in the trust, everything is in the trust. It means there's no need for will. There's no need to actually go public since all a trust is actually a private document. So that's the major difference which is there. Although there's what is called a testamentary trust, which can serve as a will because it's being established, but it's going to be used when you die. So it's going to be as a testament of what you really want. Yes.
Okay, so from everything that you've just said right now, uh, is there an alternative, or what's really the reason to get a trust? I mean, there are other things that people do. You've justified the difference between a will and a trust. So why should I get a trust? Why should I get a family trust?
Yeah, there are not many options, as we actually said. Yes, it's wise for you to have a will. Some of the people they even got on to have both the will and the trust. saying it's very important for someone to actually have a trust, because what happens is you can trust your family member, let's say your brother, your sister, for you to say maybe if I pass this on today, they are going to distribute this or the equivalent to all the beneficiaries. Let's say there is no trust. You're just saying you are trusting your brother that is going to do something which is fair by distributing the property, yes. But we are saying even in a will, you can write that my brother is going to help me in saying, let's say if you've got 3 houses and you've got 3 children, each children is going to get a house. Yes. But something can happen now, whereby that property can be affected even by divorces. Like even your son is going to divorce, something is not in a trust. Then they are going to divorce. It means it's going to be a 50-50 distribution on that house. Those are losses which are necessary. But if everything is under an umbrella of a trust, it means you're not going to suffer any losses. Like also what I said, rich people, sometimes politicians, you need privacy in life. Sometimes you don't want to be known that as an individual, you directly own these companies. You can now register a trust. Your trust owns shares in the company. Then you're not even part of the directorship. Your trust is the one which is running all the affairs on behalf of that the company, and you just receive a dividend. And some of the people, they also establish them in order for them, because the taxes are very low when it comes to trust. Rather than using, even in Zimbabwe, yes, I know that sometimes the rates are the same, but the way even our taxmen actually is strict on companies is not strict on trust. As a consultant, I think I've got several years as a consultant. I've never heard of a trust which is being audited by Simran. But companies are being audited each and every day. Yes.
All right, say I register my trust today. What is going to happen to my assets? Because I really need to figure out what's going to happen to these houses that I own.
Okay. What it means is, like what I said, that there are different trusts, but I don't want to confuse for the sake of the benefit of someone who is a layman. We are just saying, what happens, let's say I've got houses today, and some of them, let's say they are in what you call session, or they're still on agreement of sale. It means that is not a big problem, because it's a matter of just transferring them to the trust. But I also want to advise, especially under real estate, it's not wise also to put your assets directly into the trust. So you rather have the trust on a company, then the company owns that house. And if you've got 3 houses, it means you should register 3 companies, and you're going to separate all these houses, and the ownership is going to be different, because we are saying separate legal entity. Each company stands on its own, which means this house is going to be not going to be affected by this house. But you are owning all these houses under what? Under trust, which is more wiser than to have the trust, all these 3 houses registered under what? Under trust, which means that houses, as you know, some of the things that they're assets, yes, they're assets, they're fixed assets. But some of the houses, they can be liabilities, because you'll be accumulating liabilities. So you find out that there might be property, a commercial property, or a house which has got bills which are now more than its value, which is now going to also affect the other house. So by registering different companies, now you separate the legal entity. So I actually encourage people to say, yes, you'll be surrendering your assets into the trust. So what it means is you'll be surrendering, but it's the safe way of doing things, especially if you're a businessman. It means you are not part of the what? The mess which can go on in life. You know, sometimes you can have a lot of creditors who come after you as a person, but they cannot come after me. They cannot come after my assets, because I've safeguarded them in a trust. I think our famous Dr. Chiangwa, he's got a famous video which actually says he's clever. At one point, I think we were saying he borrowed money from Caps when he wanted to build his White House. And Caps was about to grab that house from him. And what he did, he registered it under family trust and he ran away. And people, they say he's not educated. He's got it. He is famous of saying that he starts where professionals ends. Yes, and he also says he's got a doctorate in common sense. So that's how smart he is, and that's how smart people should be in terms of protecting their assets.
Okay, Mr. Jerry. So, can you tell me how can I register for a trust? Like the procedures that I need to take in order to have a trust. Like, how do I register and finally get one?
It's very easy. You should actually contact your lawyer, and your lawyer can help you set up a trust. You can, because a trust is an arrangement which you are going to put, which is flexible. You, even if you're saying, if my wife is going to remarry, I don't want her to be part of the trust. That's you. If the wife also says, if my husband is going to remarry, these days they are now rich wives. So they might also say, no, I don't want if my husband remarries, automatically is kicking himself out from my trust. My children are the only ones who are going to benefit. Then you've got some other families which are in a polygamy arrangement, whereby maybe a man, you've got 5 wives. I think we've got our famous Mr. Masambu, who passed on last month. I think he had about more than 50 wives. So you have got several children and you want all your children to benefit. But maybe all these wives are going to remarry. So if they are going to remarry, what it means now is those husbands are going to benefit maybe with their children from other marriages. So what you can do is to say, no, if my wife is going to marry today, automatically they're kicking themselves from my trust. They have to benefit from their new husbands. So that is the other way of actually setting up a trust. So we're saying you can contact your lawyer. You can even contact M&J. M&J has got a legal department with our lawyers who we work with. We can help you to actually set up a trust according to what you really want, and we also give you advice on what can benefit you whilst you're still alive or whilst you're dead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jerry, for joining us. Would you have any last words you would want to say to our viewers?
Thank you very much. Yes, I would like to say to people, especially my fellow entrepreneurs, that uh, you can be you can work hard, you can accumulate millions, even billions. But if you are not smart enough just to set up a trust, maybe which is going to cost you $1,000 or $2,000, there's nothing you're actually doing, because you can work very hard. And I know that everyone who's got a child, they're no longer working hard for themselves. They say, yes, they want to also live well, but they're not doing it for children. Some of the people, they're selfless, they're doing it for generations. So we are saying, if you're doing that now without setting up a trust, you might actually create a problem whereby the people you were working for, they might end up even divided. You've seen a lot of children who are no longer in speaking terms because of what? Because of houses which were owned by their fathers. So we are saying a clever person, a smart business person, a smart person who is owning a home, a house, a commercial property. What do? They prepare in advance for any eventualities. Sometimes you can become incapacitated, not even dying. You might actually see the drama happening, like what was happening to Prophet Marsha. If you know about the story, I think I actually saw it live on television, whereby this old man no longer speaks. He's now very old, he's now more than 100 years old, and his children are actually fighting for the church. Because the church wasn't, imagine, we're not saying the family trust only. The church was supposed maybe to be registered under a trust, and there was supposed to be a proper succession plan. So right now he can watch, he can see what is happening, maybe he can hear what is happening, but he's no longer there to defend himself. People are doing whatever they want, then they're destroying something which is built maybe over 60 or 70 years. It's painful.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
So what I also want to add, maybe to say, I will put this scenario whereby a father, let's say you're a father or a mother, let me put a father, you die. Death is just around the corner. Everyone, we are walking, you're actually close to death than you're close to because when you're born, yeah, it is. When you're born, the last thing which is left is for you to die. So what I'm saying is, like, your father, you die today, then you've got 3 children. Your wife is going to remain with the 3 children. Yes. The wife is still young, 30, 40 years. They will remarry. After remarrying, your wife they might follow you. They also die after 2 years. Let's say maybe these 3 children were now staying with this new husband, or this husband is rejected to stay with 3 children. Maybe they are staying with your mom in the rural areas, or maybe with your young brother. Yes. But as soon as your wife dies, maybe this guy now is also now a benefactor in your properties or in your business. If your wife dies, automatically this guy is going to take everything. And when he takes everything, he's going to marry again. So, do these 2 new people who you don't even know because they're already dead, are they going to take care of your children? So, this is the question I want to pose to our audience to say, just think of this scenario. If you're really a caring father, if you're a caring mother who is out there, if you're a caring leader who is actually out there, because we are also saying we are building companies, but our companies can die the day we are going to die if we don't set up our things properly, because people start great things, because we don't have something which is formal, we don't have a trust which is actually specifying that, no, when I die today, my children will take care of the shareholding. Yes, but through a trust. They don't just come and grab things willy-nilly, because like sometimes the children which you're actually bearing these days, they're lazy. They'll come in, they'll start saying, no, I need my share right now. Like that son in the Bible. They now need their share, they're going to destroy everything. So what you're saying now, no, you can't. Because everything, for example, at M&J, is being owned under trust. We have to wait for the dividend to come into the trust. Then we don't even want to see your food. If I say that my daughter, I don't want even to see a year. She can benefit whilst she's somewhere, whilst Taku is the one who is managing all the affairs of M&J. And then we're saying that company is a going concern. There are companies which are just operating because the owner is still alive, but they are not going concern. So you don't just being a going concern by registering a private limited, like what they tell you in business management. No, you also need now to safeguard the ownership. Yes. So even think of it, the people are in a partnership. You've got 50-50 partnership. Then your partner dies. Then the estate of those 50 shares goes to the master of high court. This person doesn't have a will. A master of the high court is going to make a judgment. After making a judgment, maybe they're going to say, you now have got 10 more shareholders who are owning 5% each in your company. Are you going to be in agreement with these 10 people? Yeah. It's not a question of another day. So what we are saying is, be a wise person, even the person you're actually partnering with. It's a risk if he doesn't have a trust. If it's also a risk if he doesn't have a will. Maybe if you say a will, you will say you want to plan my death, but he should have a trust. So this is what I want to say. If you're a wise woman, if you're a caring husband, if you're a caring wife, in order for you to protect your family, you need a trust. This is my parting shot.
Thank you everyone for joining us on the CEO's Thursday. Until we meet again,